Hello and welcome back to another episode of the FPL show on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. I'm your host Matt, and with me again is my co-host Daniel. Say hello to the nice people, Daniel.
Hello, nice people.
So yeah, game week 1 has just finished. We're recording, if we timestamp this, on Sunday evening. The West Ham City game has just finished, and we are left with the dust settled. With very different game weeks, haven't we, Daniel?
I actually don't know how your game week's gone. Mine's sort of felt like two very different game days, where riding high yesterday and then the Man City train came plowing through and has just ruined my Sunday.
We feared it, didn't we, last week? We mentioned it, and sadly, the Grim Reaper has, in Pep Guardiola, has come and taken us. So yeah, I mean, what we'll do first, we'll just say welcome back if you're joining us from last week. Please, if you'd like the channel, subscribe. You'll find us every week talking about FPL. If you want to talk to us in the comments, any questions about your team, I mean, we might be well placed to answer them, but we won't get everything right, as you'll see in this video. But we'd be more than happy to help you out. Okay, so great. That just takes us now to talking about our game week 1 teams, Daniel.
Yep.
I'll go first, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll get the dodgy one out the way with, because then at least people have got something nice to look forward to. Probably one of my most sketchy game week 1 starts for the last few years. I am currently 3,680 something thousand, finished on 59 points. Now, I knew that I was in for a tough time when my players all finished playing yesterday. So I knew today was going to be painful because I had absolutely nobody playing. Mount blanked in the last fixture of yesterday and just absolutely nothing after that. I obviously had no Man City, which caused me trouble today. However, some things that I can be happy with is Mesley's 3-pointer. I'm going to take that as an absolute win. Don't laugh, please don't laugh, because I've got to hold on to these things or else I'll weep actual tears. The thing is, when you look at Ward, right, so loads of people jumped on Ward and the cheaper goalkeepers, right, they all conceded and got between 1 and 2 points, whereas Mesley got a save point. So the extra points probably moved me up an extra 200,000 places this weekend, so happy days. Then obviously Trippier with 7, Salah captain, 24 points. Martinelli's 8 points was a nice start to the game week when hope was still alive. And then Callum Wilson's 6-pointer was nice, but he didn't get any bonus points. He just got six points.
But Callum Wilson, yeah, that strange. I found that very strange.
I was quite sad about it. I could have really done with those points as well. So, I mean, only game week 1 though. I'm not going to be too down about it.
Yeah, I think for Wilson it's because did he watch the game?
Yeah, I did.
He didn't do anything other than the goal, which I don't think helped. The thing that I was surprised with, and it's not because I'm bitter, because I've got Trippier as well. I don't know how Trippier got a bonus point, because that's probably the best I've ever seen Newcastle play, and yet I still think he was maybe our worst player.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to get sucked in, because we could probably talk like that Newcastle match for hours on end. But you are right. Like, we dominated that game. It was amazing to watch from the dark days of having 30% possession.
Yeah,
it was amazing. I think because Trippier is quite attacking and he's got a lot of passes, that bumps his bonus points up.
Must do.
I totally get what you're saying. I mean, I think because it was the winning goal, like the final goal of the game, I was kind of hoping he would get some more bonus points, Wilson. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. And then obviously Trent and Robbo conceded 2, so I got 1 point apiece for them. Mount got me 3 points. When you look at the other 8 million mids, it's not good enough, because the other 8 million mids absolutely went off. Bailey for 5 million, I can't really expect more than 2 points. Potentially going to have to transfer him out in a few weeks. Kane got 2, which is horrendous when you consider what Haaland did.
Yeah.
Which might have to be a problem that gets changed very quickly. And Jesus blanked as well, but everybody owned him. but it means that a lot of people are left with some very expensive players who they might want to potentially shift out this week and be quite reactionary, which is often the case with game week 1. So yeah, quite sad. I'm bang on the average this week. Essentially, it was the City and Chelsea defenders and Erling Haaland, which has totally upset me.
Yeah.
But yeah, never mind it. Daniel, cheer me up a bit. How did you do?
So we had very similar teams. So I had Meslier as 3 as well, which when you look at everyone else, fairly delighted with the fact that he got a save point, because I think there's only 3 or 4 teams kept a clean sheet at all.
Yeah.
And out of 4.5 million goalkeepers or less, I think it was only Bournemouth. Everyone else would have been 5 million or more to get you one. So happy with that. Robbo and Trent ruining our days. I am still positive that there was a foul on Henderson in the build-up for the first goal, and the second one wasn't a penalty. Trips for 7, so buzzing with that. Had Martinelli for 8. Had Maddison, he got an assist today, so that was 5. Had Salah as captain, 24. I had Kulu, so he got 13. And when I saw that, because you don't get any signal whatsoever at St James's Park, so when I saw that come through, after we've just beat Nottingham Forest 2-0, just moment of euphoria, outright euphoria. And then Miggy's 3-pointer, matching Mason Mount, beating Leon Bailey. So I feel totally vindicated. Totally vindicated in that choice. And you know what? He could have had an assist for Sam Maximan. He could have had a goal himself if he'd squared it across to, I think it was Wilson in the box. It was a tap in. He should have got more points.
If he was a better footballer, it could have been a 12-pointer.
Could have been totally different. Or if St Maximan had finished his dinner, could have got another 3 points. It would have been amazing. I would Jesus and Kane as well. So I got a total of 69 points. And that was a game week rank of 1.5 million. So I was, my game week rank before today, I think was 300,000.
Oh, wow.
1.2 million places because of Joao Cancelo and Haaland, and people captaining Haaland. So that wasn't fun.
Wow,
I mean, West Ham didn't turn up, and that's a massive issue, because I thought that they'd give them a game at home because they've drawn the last 2 times they played there. So I was thinking, this isn't an easy fixture. West Ham couldn't have made it any easier for them. It was awful.
Such a shame for us. But really, I mean, we should have probably had at least one City player in the team, shouldn't we, in hindsight?
But it's one of those where I think my plan flip a coin on Kane or Haaland. I don't care what anyone says. If you've got Haaland, that's class. If you didn't get him and you got Kane, what you meant to do? If anything, Southampton scored 4 goals and you didn't get anything back. When it's a Harry Kane's quality, you might, anyone that has sort of Twitter FPL accounts will hear the word variance going around. That is peak variance.
Yeah.
So just one of them things. You've just got to suck it up, take it.
I was going to totally mention that about on another day. Those 4 goals, if Spurs score 4, you're talking Harry Kane hat-trick or something ridiculous like that.
More than assist, something like that.
To be honest, in terms of the research, I don't actually know. Do you know how many shots Kane actually had in the match? Was he that involved? Because if he wasn't, then that is a big issue.
I'm pretty confident with my own eyes I saw him have 2.
Right. Oh, well, that's not too bad. It's not like he's coming deep and trying to just get assists.
No. I think Son was being a bit greedy at times as well. He could have had a tap in if Son had passed it to him. But again, with the City thing, my justification was I wanted to get a City midfielder in match day 2 because I wasn't sure who was going to play and I wanted to see who'd play.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a good decision, because it's not like that. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne obviously got one of the assists, or the only assist, which I wouldn't be able to afford anyway. The rest of them didn't get anything. And now I'd be able to watch that is Grealish and Foden playing either side. And I don't think they did much, personally anyway. I still think Grealish just wants to shimmy and then pass the ball backwards. And Foden had a really good game, but he wasn't anywhere near getting a goal or assist or anything.
Yeah. So on the note of Man City then, right, we are now in a situation with 0 Man City players in our team. They've beat West Ham 2-0. City have destroyed our ranks this week. They're about to play Bournemouth at home, so that leaves us with a bit of an issue, and we'll come on to that a little bit later on. But what we're going to do now, we're going to talk about players who caught our eye in game week 1. So players who just really shone. So not so much the obvious, like the Haalands, because everyone knows how well they did. Some certain players who, from a fantasy Premier League point of view, it might be worth keeping a little bit of an eye on in the next few weeks because they might do quite well.
Yeah.
So if you want to go first, Daniel, then that'll be lovely.
Yeah. My first player is Ryan Sessegnon. 4.5 million. It was a flip of a coin. Is a Sessegnon Perisic, and I think lots of people wanted Perisic, but with Sessegnon scoring, and he could have had another, and he's almost got another assist as well. I can't see Conte dropping them for the next couple of games. And if you look after Chelsea, their games are absolutely mustard. And it's one of the issues that I've got with taking Kane out, because I'd say Tottenham have got some of the best fixtures from game week 3 to sort of 6 or 7. And if you were going to do the Kane to Haaland move, you could do it this week, and then Sessegnon to get back up to another Spurs player. You could put him in for game week 3, and again, you'd have a little bit more information about how he does against Chelsea, what minutes he's going to share with Perisic. I like the fact that the wing backs are getting taken off after about 60, 70 minutes for some of the games, because it's like they're getting the bulk of the game, and then they're getting brought off before they might concede a goal, basically.
Do you know what? It's interesting. That's like really a glass half full kind of way of thinking, because for me, it would terrify me that the likes of, so I would never transfer in Ryan Sessegnon right now, because I would be terrified that Perisic is waiting there to take his place away, and that's just a transfer out waiting to happen. So I like to try and think that those transfers are a bit precious, and don't want to like just chuck them away on somebody who's just scored a goal this week. I do like him though. If he didn't have Perisic there, I would be all over that. Like absolutely. So yeah, I'll go next. So my player to keep an eye on is Wilfried Zaha. Now, bit of a weird one because they lost 2-0, but Palace dominated that game in certain parts. Like people just see the 2-0 scoreline and not actually realise Crystal Palace should have probably scored at least one that game. Well, Ramsdale had a couple of good saves, didn't he? And a bit of research very quickly. He's the second highest XG, for what it's worth, of midfielders, and that was against Arsenal. So not just XG, it was XGI, so expected goal involvement. So that's a combination of XA and XG put together. So the second highest amongst all midfielders. So that's your Brunos, your KDBs, everyone. I can't remember who was top for that. It might have been Pascal Gross, because he got 2 goals.
They got 2 goals today, didn't he?
Yeah. So when you consider that, Zaha's not doing too bad. However, he plays Liverpool away next, so might not be saying that though they conceded 2. Might not be the worst idea in the world. So yeah, Wilfried Zaha might be the next bandwagon. Do you want to have one more, Daniel, and then I'll have one more?
Yeah. I've got a couple. I think it's hard because you don't really want to be messing around with your 4.5 million mids, but I think some people were disappointed today or yesterday with the likes of Neto, Bailey. I mean, I've got Miggy in. I'm happy having him for a few weeks, and then I probably want to drop to a 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people had Andres Pereira in, and they slept on De Silva at Brentford. He scored today, but I'm kind of not bothered about that. He's going to come on for the last half hour of games, and he was their best player in the Championship, arguably, when they got promoted. The season got promoted before they sold their front 3. He was arguably their best player. And when you listen to other podcasts, Brentford fans talk about him. And I just think that for a 4.5 million midfielder, when we're all going to want a wild card at some point, and maybe if you have a Neto or a Bailey and you're going to need to make 2 transfers, that could get you an extra 1 million or 0.5 million to upgrade the other player that you actually want to transfer. So if you roll a transfer this week, and then you've got 2 transfers, I think going for Josh De Silva, is one of them to downgrade, and then you can obviously make your choice of who you want to upgrade.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great point. Now it's funny because last week we got asked the question about best budget players, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we mentioned the Pereiras and the Nico Williamses, but we totally neglected De Silva.
Yeah.
Now I've got to say Andreas Pereira played very, very high up the pitch. He wasn't playing like a 4.5 million midfielder.
Yeah.
So I would say that there's points to be had from him. I wouldn't be rushing to get him out, because if you keep flip-flopping between your 4.5s, then you're asking for trouble, really. But De Silva, like you say, if you're wildcarding, he was their best player, and when they got promoted, I think that's another fantastic shout, really. If you look and hit that wildcard button game week 3, game week 4, unless Damsgaard takes his place, because I know that was a transfer that was pending.
I think it depends on the formation of the player, because sometimes they play with 2 behind Tony, and sometimes they play in a 4-3-3. Yeah. So it just depends on what formation they want to play as to whether he is going to start or come off the bench, is basically what I've sort of seen and heard from Brentford fans. But again, like I say, if you've got Andreas Pereira, like, don't be going like for likes, don't be swapping one to the other. It's more so, I think people are going to panic in trying to get in price rises, because price rises are going to happen and everyone's going to lose 0.5 million worth of value because of a 0.1 million price rise. And when that happens, you are going to have to lose a player somewhere. And I think everyone's got Bailey or Neto. So it's more so when the time comes to get rid of one of them and you need a 4.5, I think he could be your good 5th midfielder.
Yeah, agreed. And then I'm going to be cheeky for my last one. So because we all watched the Newcastle game, it's a Newcastle United channel, because we were absolutely immense, St. Maximin and Joe Linton, so one of those 2, St. Maximin 6.5 and Joe Linton 6. They were both incredible, I thought. Not yesterday, the day before. No, it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. How many beers did you have, Matt? Say
that again?
How many beers did you have?
I've not had any today, sadly. But I had a couple yesterday though. Time has gone. St. Maximin. Weird thing about St. Maximin, I thought yesterday, he looked really bright as he does in spells, but then when he found himself in an opportunity to be greedy, he would pass it. But then when he found himself in an opportunity to pass, like I saw a freeze frame today of when he took the shot at the near post instead of pulling it across goal for Wilson just before we scored. That for me was a perfect summary of like how we played yesterday in parts, and St. Maximin in particular. I feel like he's obviously had Eddie Howe in his ear telling him to try and pick the right time to pass, I think. And I think he's kind of overdoing it a bit to a degree. But the fact he's getting in those areas, the fact that he's got the opportunities to be passing across the edge of the box for a tap in, tells me that points are on the way. So fingers crossed. And Joe Linton, like absolutely
monster.
Amazing. Absolute monster. Didn't get a yellow card either.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, Jeff. They're my picks anyway. Have you got anything to add on that, Daniel, before we move on?
Not really, because obviously we're saying not obvious picks, like not Nunes and Mitrovic, these players that have just banged in 2 goals that everyone can see and everyone's going to get. You don't make those decisions yourself. I suppose the one other player that I saw that I was like most impressed with, that you could actually have as a fantasy option, was Thiago Silva, Chelsea, because he's cheaper than the wing backs, sorry. He does like to get a goal from a set piece, and he was absolutely class yesterday against Everton, because I don't think Everton played too badly. You'd see they were missing a number 9, but other than that, I thought they played all right. And if anything, I thought they might have got a goal or 2 if it wasn't for him. And I just think he might get in bonus. If obviously Chilwell got the assist yesterday, I don't even think he got in bonus. James did, even though he got booked, so says a lot. But I like the way. But it's just the fact that he's cheaper than the rest of them.
Absolutely. And I think it's good to mention Reece James. The fact that he got booked and still got 2 bonus points is absolutely insane. The fact that we don't have him in our teams is another slap on the wrist. I think it's horrendous, because I think he was like 40% owned at some point.
You can't have everyone, and they've got Tottenham the next game week, and yeah. I mean, it's one of them things. I don't think they looked amazing at all. Chelsea. I don't think they're going to finish top 4 personally. So
we will finish above them, and Everton will get relegated.
But you can't finish above first, so of course.
Of course. As well, Aston Villa loss. Their defenders look bad options. A lot of people bought in Matty Cash and Luca Dean and lost 2-0 to Bournemouth. There's worrying signs there as well, isn't there?
And Leon Bailey owners deserve exactly what they got.
Don't start, Daniel. Don't start. So yeah, we're just going to leave that now. We can't talk about game week 1 anymore. We're going to now look ahead to game week 2 next weekend. Now, before we get started, like I said, we timestamped this for the game week 1 has just ended now. We will not know any injuries, any training ground bust-ups, any sackings, or anything like that. So if you're watching this on like Wednesday or Thursday, the world might have ended by then. So we don't actually know. So please don't comment angry messages, okay? So yeah, what are we thinking for game week 2? What's your transfers or potential transfers? What are you doing?
I think one thing that I learned a long time ago about this game is the balance between patience and pride/stubbornness. And I think sometimes people want to make loads of changes, -4s. I've seen -8s and -12s already. People get injured during the week. Now, I get it if there's going to be a price rise. You maybe want to jump on it if you're pretty certain. So I'm in a quandary of, do I remain patient, or do I accept the fact that I may have made an error and have to change that? And I think obviously the truth lies somewhere in the middle, where I want to make 4 or 5 changes. I make one, and I think that change is I've just got to swallow my pride and go Kane to Haaland and just not mess around. I'd left open the transfer from Maddison to a Man City midfielder, but they didn't. I wasn't like overly impressed today. I don't think West Ham played well, whereas Haaland just looked like he was on everything. So against Bournemouth, he's you're gonna that, and that's the thing. I'll justify the transfer, but I'd captain him. I'm not captaining Harry Kane against Chelsea.
No, absolutely not. I'm in total agreement. Little reveal here. I may have already pressed the button on Kane to Haaland because I honestly I couldn't take looking at my game week 2 team and seeing Harry Kane sat there staring at me.
Yeah.
So I had to just do it. I did it like 2 hours ago. I think the game had just finished, so I did wait until Haaland had made it safely off the pitch. Unless he's quietly hiding like a broken foot, I don't think I've got a problem. But I'm going to be sweating now until Friday or Saturday now, hoping that he gets through the week unscathed. Or else I might be looking at a -4. But saying that, Andreas Pereira, I think, is my first sub with Wolves away, maybe, which isn't the worst fixture. If Haaland gets injured, I could just play Pereira. But
that's not bad. And also, like, can you not remember? I'm sure last year, Matt, you were like lamenting the fact that you took loads of hits. Wasn't that like your thing last year? You were like, I took loads of hits, I took too many hits, and now, when did the game finish? Like 4 hours ago. And I think about taking a hit.
I'm not. No. I'm not. That's not me seriously considering taking a hit. That's me thinking, if Haaland gets injured,
you'll just take a hit.
I would have to. I would maybe have to. No, I did take a few hits last year because it was the COVID year. So you had to people were going down left, right, and centre, weren't they?
Yeah. Or Christmas.
It was around Christmas. Yeah, like half your squad got wiped out, so you had to make like -12s. But hey ho, yeah. So Haaland is in my team. He's going to be captain against Bournemouth. They kept a clean sheet this week, but I can't see. I think City will just walk all over them next week.
if you already had Haaland, who would you be looking to bring in? If you already had him in?
I'd be looking to get rid of Mount for maybe Saka or another 8 million mid. I wouldn't get Kulusevski because of that Chelsea game. I feel like I would be chasing points. I don't think he's going to get 13 points every week. Who's he? That 8 million mid? I can't get Diaz because I've got Robertson, Trent, and Salah.
You got Saka, Maddison, Mount.
Ooh, Maddison.
Yeah.
Maddison. Who do Leicester have next?
Arsenal.
Yeah. I mean, it's irrelevant because I've made the transfer now. But yeah, I don't think I wasn't too happy with Mount. I don't know whether that was just jealousy because I didn't back the right 8 million mid. But yeah, it happens. Like you said before, Dan, you can't have everybody.
Yeah.
You are gonna have disappointment somewhere. So yeah, I think that pretty much rounds up the transfers this week. We have got some questions to answer. First one comes from Chris from the All the Smiling Faces podcast on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. It's shameless plug. Do I panic and replace Kane/Jesus with Haaland? So he's thinking about removing Kane or Jesus for Haaland. I mean, we've covered Haaland, but it might be sensible to talk about whether we should transfer out Jesus.
Well, I've heard panic is always a great solution. So yes, absolutely panic. I think you want Haaland 100%. Now, I don't know what sort of wizardry he's going to be doing to get Jesus out to bring Haaland in to have him with Kane, because that would be a great option.
Take a hit.
Whereas I just don't think it's worth it. Where if I mean, Leicester conceded 2 goals and they could have conceded more to Brentford today. They don't look great at the back. They've still got Daniel Amarte playing. They've had to go to a back 5 because of Barnes' injury. And yeah, I mean, Johnny Evans looks well off the pace. It's like Fofana defending on his own. Danny Ward, it's like so meh. I don't believe Rodgers when he's like, we've got a real quality number 1 keeper. No, you haven't. And Justin was playing as like a left forward at times today. So I think they'll get exposed. So I wouldn't panic to bring out Jesus because I don't think the jump from 9 to 11.5 million is particularly feasible without taking a hit. And I don't think you should take a hit after game week 1. Just be patient. But Kane to Haaland, I mean, like I say, Kane's got great fixtures from 3 to 5 or 6, whatever. But I can't bear to go another week knowing that Haaland's going to play Bournemouth.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we've covered that, and it's an overwhelming yes, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Final question that we'll answer very, very quickly is Nathan, who says, should he take a -4? So he's talking about taking a hit. He's already thinking about bringing in Haaland for Kane, but he's thinking about taking out Mount and transferring Kulusevski in. So he's wanting to keep on the Spurs attack, but also be able to get to Haaland. But should he take more to do that?
No, I like the idea. I think it's a good idea in terms of getting Kulusevski to try and cover in some way Son and Kane. Which, you know what, like Kulusevski's numbers towards the back end of last year when he actually joined were great. And for the money, because you're not comparing Kulusevski to Son and Kane, you're comparing Son and Kane to Haaland, De Bruyne, and Salah, because they're all at the same same price. They're the premiums.
Yeah.
Kulusevski, though, for me, he's got the most capability of scoring out of all the 8 million mids. Him and Saka, because Saka's on penalties, and I know Mount's a really good player. So I get it. I get why he wants to move to Kulusevski.
Yeah.
But
one thing I'll say about Kulusevski, he's now got Richarlison to try for a place because Richarlison was suspended game week 1. He's now going to be available.
Kulusevski was Tottenham's best player yesterday. He was like absolutely magic. And it's not, Richarlison can't play on the right. He's not. He plays up front. He plays on the left. Like, his worst position out of those 3 is on the right. I think Kulusevski's main competition is going to be Lucas Moura. And whenever he comes off, it's usually Lucas Moura that comes on from or Bergwijn, but Bergwijn's not there anymore. So I'm not worried about that too much. But again, I think he can play 75 minutes every game. And if he plays like that and how he played last season, Richarlison's not getting anywhere near the team ahead of him because he's so good. It's not like we're talking about just a placeholder. This kid's absolutely amazing. Like if we had him on the right wing yesterday against Nottingham Forest, it would be 8-0.
Yeah.
He's so good. So yeah, but the issue is Mount can still do something. Mount's still a very good player. Tottenham do look better at the back, but they still conceded. Mount could be that player that does it. And to take a -4 for Kulusevski when
not worth it.
Anything, because it's Chelsea. Like it's not like Kulusevski's now playing Bournemouth or Nottingham Forest or something. Like if that was the case, and you go, you know what, I back myself getting them points back, but they're playing each other.
Yeah.
Does Kulusevski have that much more of a chance against Chilwell and Koulibaly?
Exactly. So Nathan, don't take a hit. Just do Kane to Haaland, or keep Haaland and do Mount to Kulusevski if you think Tottenham are going to beat Chelsea. That would be what I would say. So finally, the Gallowgateshots mini league has kicked off, and we're going to round that up. We've got our very first week finished. First place has been found, and it's John Bainbridge, who scored 94 points this week.
Tasty.
94 points. I think he was like 4 or 5 points more than anybody else, which is ridiculous. Best thing that I saw about it, he didn't play a chip, didn't play triple captain or bench boost, because normally some people like to just kind of throw away a chip first week to try and get a really good score. He didn't even play one, so he's nearly hit 100 club first week.
Yeah, and without any, there's no hat tricks, was there? Because normally you might get some 100 clubs when, I remember when Sterling scored a hat trick first game against West Ham, and Salah against Norwich or something. Like you usually get like a player scoring a hat trick first game, but
I think he had Haaland captain. He had Zinchenko. I can't remember the other ones, but I mean, to get 94 points, you've just got to close your eyes and picture everybody who did a goal or an assist.
Yeah.
So
Matt, to cheer yourself up, Matt, I did see on Twitter today someone scored 51 points this week using a bench boost.
Oh, well, that's good news for me. At least they didn't beat me. I mean, saying that, right? So I'm only 3,600,000. That means that there's like at least another 4 million people behind me, and there's the only way is up, baby.
Exactly. Gameweek 1 means absolutely nothing anyway, because like the difference between points is 2 and 3s. So like you're 10 points behind me, but 2 million places is 10.
It's close. It's always close. It's easy to make games, isn't it?
Yeah, and some people will just put in a class Gameweek 1 team and they'll look at the Gameweek 2 and they'll be absolutely dog. So do not panic about 1 week's worth of positions. Just doesn't matter.
I'm not panicking, mate. I'm not panicking.
Matt,
I'm not panicking.
We're speaking to other people here, remember?
sorry. Yeah, I'm cool. So yeah, that pretty much rounds us up this week, guys. If you've stuck around for the whole video, thank you. Please give it a like again, give a comment, share it around your friends. If you've got a mini league or anything like that, you might want to keep it to yourself because we're giving out little nuggets of golden information, or share it around, make everybody happy. Thanks for watching, folks, and good luck in Game Week 2.
Everyone, see you later.